Huge free throws here for Paul George. And that's critical. It's now along the free throw line to make sure they secure it if he misses another. Missed another, and they call timeout. Not an easy inbound with that big body in front of you. Crowder looking, throws it alley. Oh! Hayden puts it down!
PG-13. Playoff P. Paul George. 7.2 seconds left. Yep. At the free throw line, a career 84.7% shooter who was shooting 86.8% from the free throw line this year, who never misses two free throws. Never misses two free throws. Pick that moment to miss two free throws. Wow.
5 for 10 free throw shooting, I think, tonight, though.
It was
we had
bad.
A little foreshadowing.
Yes.
And that's my least favorite thing, guys, about the playoff. Each window gives us an opportunity to have a hero and a GOAT. And missing two free throws, Stephen A., does invite criticism, and I'm not saying it doesn't. But if we rewind the tape, and we got to go back a ways because it took forever to get through these last couple of minutes, George took on big-time shots
30 minutes.
and made them, gave him the lead in that broken floor situation where I love that he attacked the rim. And so there's a certain level of credit that he had on a night where he didn't shoot well to get him back into it. But I don't know what to make of a guy that gets to the free throw line and missed two, and he just looked so uncomfortable to me in that moment. I don't know why.
Well, let me help you out, SVP. Let me help you out here, okay? Paul George is a star. Paul George is a star. He's not the star of the Los Angeles Clippers. That would happen to be Kawhi Leonard, who is out. But he's that secondary player, the one that they traded the farm for, because Kawhi Leonard wanted him in Los Angeles as a Clipper, and Kawhi Leonard threatened that if you don't get me Paul George to join me, not only am I not joining you, the Clippers, I'm going to the Los Angeles Lakers to join LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So that's why Steve Ballmer and the crew for the Clippers forfeited all of that to get Paul George. We believe in him. We know he could ball. Went on his own personal 8-2 run. But I know you, Michael Wilbon ain't my only friend, SVP. You are my brother as well. And let me tell you something. I happen to know you like your movies. You ever heard of Glenn Ross? You ever seen Alec Baldwin? You ever heard the phrase, always be closing? Yeah. You must close when you are a star in the postseason. He didn't close. He didn't close.
Scott, I got to tell you this real quickly.
He did steak knives. Of course. He did steak knives tonight. I understand that. Second place instead of steak knives. I get it.
Smith was singing, "It's over, it's over." And then for Paul George to go to the free throw line as an 85% career foul shooter, 89% this postseason, and miss those shots, if you're not a Suns fan, you had to feel for it. Because not only did he write a whole new chapter in the tales of Pandemic P, but it cost them the game. I mean, we're not talking about the terrific, probably the series. We're not talking about the terrific dunk by DeAndre Ayton and the pinpoint pass by Jay Crowder, the courageous pick by Devin Booker, who got to have a broken nose, right? And then the masterful play call by Monty Williams. We're talking about none of that. If Paul George hits those free throws, and probably even if he hits just one of them. And so the Clippers, man, from hero to GOAT, Paul George, and them as a team, too.
Here's the story. The story is the instant replay system in the NBA needs to be burnt to the ground. Let's just go over some things before we get to the Beverly play. Broussard, you played college basketball. You covered the league for 30 years. We just watched an epic Game 7 where I would argue the single biggest factor in who won Bucks Nets in the overtime was fatigue. One guy was totally spent. The other guy, Giannis, had a little bit left.
Right.
Well, do you think that game would have gone different if there had been 31 minutes of stoppages in the overtime like there was in the final 90 seconds? I do. That is altering the result. Brandon just talked about a brilliant play call and play design by Monty Williams. Did he have a timeout left? Of course not. But did he need one? Of course not. Why? Because they were reviewing something they had no need to review, because it is like that if all you are is a hammer, everything's a nail. If you give a referee the option to review it, let's review it. Listen, they're all robots out there. This won't alter what was going to happen. No, of course it will.
Because if you look at it, he had 23 points, Skip, but took him 23 shots to get it. Let's look at the first 45 minutes of the ball game. Paul George was 7 of 20 from the floor, 0 of 7 from 3. That's an F. And then you look at the final 2 minutes and 30 seconds. He had 9 points. I gave him an A for that. The final 10 seconds, he missed 2 free throws. That's another F. So to tally that up, Skip, I thought he gave him a D-minus ball. D-minus. Skip, you've got to make those free throws. If you just make one, now a 2-pointer can tie you, or if you make both of them, it's going to take a 3 to send it to overtime. But you can't miss both. Because now you subject yourself to what happened. That would happen. So for me, I don't see how you get around it, Skip. And I told you, this is why you can't. He gave himself that name, Playoff P. He said he's Playoff P. That's anything but. Now I didn't know. I thought Doc Rivers said they wasn't going to trade Ben Simmons. Was that Ben Simmons last night shooting the free throws? Oh, that was Paul Simmons. Or was that Ben George? Oh, my goodness, Skip. I'm like, who's knocking on the door? That was Paul George Meade. I thought somebody was knocking on my door up in Bel Air. Yeah! I said, what is that noise? You know, because you saw it, too. I knew it. I knew it. Skip, can I share something with you?
Yeah.
He's not that guy.
Not that guy.
He's not that guy. That's not you, bud.
I think you misnamed Paul George.
No, I didn't.
I think you should have called him LeBron George, because he went LeBron at the end of the game. He went LeBron at the end of the game. I give you that. He did exactly what LeBron has done so many times, because LeBron James is simply the worst late-game free throw shooter in the history of superstars in this league. There's never been anything statistically like what a disaster LeBron has been at the late-game free throw line, which is why he is often run from the late-game free throw line. Paul George has been nothing but money and clutch from the free throw. Okay, you got me on this. In fact, saw a stat this morning. It was 104 times this year that Paul George made both free throws. So he had never, in 104 times shooting 2 free throws, he's never missed both of them until last night. Okay, so I'm going to give him a B+ for last night, because I have never been prouder of Paul George. Because what's your favorite word? Context.
Yeah.
Let's put this in context of what he did. Because all I heard after Game 7 at Philadelphia, Trae Young, he was lauded and applauded because he went to the fourth quarter 2 of 16, right? And what was he? Let's see, he wound up 2 of 11 from 3. I think he was 1 of 10 from 3 going to the fourth quarter. And he had a flurry, a significant all-time great flurry of he hit a jumper and a floater and a logo 3, right? Way to go, Trae Young. He's our little darling, right? Well, Paul George went way beyond what Trae Young did.
No, he didn't.
In the last 2 minutes of the game, the last 2:41, he was all-time clutch great. And to do that when you're shooting the ball so poorly, remember, he was 0 for 7 from 3. And we got to see these shots in order. Can we see it again? 2:41 left. If we could see Paul George's 9 points in 2 minutes late in the game. He makes he's 0 for 7, and he bangs that one in to cut the lead to 3. Then with 56.7 seconds left, did that not look like a good free throw? This one's a little shaky, but up and in. Okay, all right, that was maybe a harbinger of what was to come, but that cut it to 1. And then here he comes back again, gets to the rim, and they lead by 1. He put them ahead by 1 with 30 seconds left. Then 22 seconds left, shot of the night. Clutch as you can get. And this is the quote-unquote pandemic P who was condemned in the bubble for melting down psychologically and mentally to the point that he needed counseling in the bubble. And everybody ridiculed him because he is so mentally weak. And he has taken the biggest bunch of you-know-what from everybody all year long, including Devin Booker, who is trash-talking the whole year long about how soft he is, psychologically soft, mentally soft. And for him
to come back from all of the above, from having a putrid shooting night and heat up. That I just gave you 9 points in 2 minutes of time.
Yeah.
9 points.
I gave him an A for that.
Woo-hoo. Well, I'm giving him a B+ for the night because it's hard to do that when you're up against it.
Hold on, if you don't mind me asking, what's Paul George a career what from the free throw line? If I'm not mistaken, he's career 84%.
Yep.
He in the playoffs, he's been 86%.
Yep.
He went 50% last night, and you gave him a B.
I did.
How about this here? You win the game if he goes 80%.
Help me out. If he doesn't have this all-time salvo of 9 points in 2 minutes, are they in this game? Heck no. They're not even close.
Let me ask you a question. What are you going to remember about game 2? Are you going to remember that 9-point flurry in 2 minutes?
Well, you're
and 30
asking
seconds?
the wrong guy. I'm going to remember 9.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
No, you're not. You're going to remember those minutes. I guarantee you, they're not going to show that flurry. When they go back and look at this game, everybody's going to look at what Paul George did with a chance to ice the game.
Okay.